Hello, everyone. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the month ahead, the month of February. We know that all of these readings are timeless. So, whenever you're finding this, wherever you and I are meeting in the virtual realms, trust that there's something here for you. It's almost like working with a tarot deck. You're going to pull the message, you're going to meet the message as you need to hear it. But for our purposes, we're beginning this exploration in February of 2026. And there's a couple of things just to ground ourselves in. One, we are about to be fully in the height of the Leo full moon. Two, we are on February 1st on Imbolc, which is the beautiful moment, the pivot point between the solstice and the equinox. And there's something about the total darkness to the balance of the light. This is also a balance moment. It's the halfway point between those two events, those two solar astrological events. And there's something really quiet about this moment. So we're really taking stock of what we've been nested in, what we've been composting over this past winter season. And we're also beginning to turn towards the coming light, the returning light. And so we're in this interesting balance point of this is what has been, this is what has emerged, this is what has been laid down to rest, this is what is recycling itself. And this is what wants to be born. This is where my energy is moving in this year, 2026. And there's a lot of chatter right now because we're moving from the wood snake to the fire horse. And that's going to happen mid-month in February. And that's the Lunar New Year. And there's something really important and beautiful about what that kickstarts. And in these 2 weeks, this is the tail of the snake, the tail of the wood snake. And it's not a calm energy, and yet it's a very quiet energy. So can you hold both those truths in your body at the same time? The High Priestess, the 2 that is always with us in February, is a receptive energy. It's a yin energy. It's a holding energy. It's a relaxing energy. It's a leaning back energy. It's a translation energy. And we're in a Wheel of Fortune year, which has a lot of yang energy. So it's like it has the forward movement, the momentum. And we came out of January where we were working with the Magician and Justice and the Wheel of Fortune. There's a ton of momentum there. That's a busy. It asks something of you. It's an extractive energy. So even though it's beautiful, even though so much is happening, it still requires like an energetic output from you. The February energy is going to be vastly different. So you're going to have this energy of the High Priestess, which is inherently reflective, quiet, still, silent energy. Not nothing, not without momentum, but a very different kind of, very like a softening. Think about that yin yoga. Have you ever done that where you have to hold the pose a little bit longer than you want to? There's a softening that comes. And when I teach tarot, it's one of the things I really hope people take away from my classes is that stay with the card. Like when you pull a card, you stay with it. That's a kind of yin exercise too. It's like I see the card, I have a reaction, I think I know, good, bad, ugly, or I don't even know. I say I don't know. Whatever's happening, there's this like immediate reaction. And if we stay with the card, just like if we stay with a yoga pose, if we sit a little longer than we would prefer or a little longer than is comfortable, all these micro movements begin to activate or release, or we become aware of them. Same thing with a card. Like you'll be like, oh, I don't know what this means, or this is definitely positive, this is definitely negative. And if you stay with it, certain things will rise to the surface, certain things will grab your attention, memories, stories, connections will begin to form. With your body, when you're in yin yoga and you hold the pose, I might like the pose, I might not like the pose, I might be comfortable or uncomfortable, but if I stay there, the initial layer kind of parts, and then there's another layer behind there, and then if we stay a little longer, there's another layer behind there, and you can't really get to those back layers, those deeper layers, so to speak, unless you're willing to hold a little longer. That is the energy of the High Priestess. We just want to sit with stillness a little longer, with silence a little longer, with receptivity a little longer, and listen a little bit longer than we might want to. So you might have intuition or instincts that come up, and it's like, oh yeah, that. And if I just stay with it, you're not going to lose it. Nothing bad's going to happen. What might actually happen is another layer might get revealed, something deeper, or more nested further in might have the opportunity to show its face to you or reveal itself to you. So that's the High Priestess energy. And then we have the Hangman energy, which is reversal, pause, right? Pause and just breathe and just look at things with your eyes. So it's a similar idea of I'm just going to stay here. And as I stay here, or maybe switch my perspective, I see it differently. Oh, I thought it was ABC, but maybe it's one, two, three. There's something about it that shifts. And the beautiful part about the Hangman is it's a surrender experiment. It's a surrender into discomfort, a surrender into a reversal, a surrender into stillness. So the hermit has a stillness to it, but it's an active stillness. The hermit goes out on the road. The Hangman is there's a stillness, like a let it all go kind of stillness. So just feel those two cards, the High Priestess, receptivity, the subconscious mind, the dream state, hypnotic trance state, the state of the oracle, the hollow bone in shamanism, and then the Hangman, which is submission, reversal, surrender, lack of effort, a purposeful release, and hands off. Those two cards together create a deep stillness, but an incredibly fertile stillness, like an incredibly profound, transformative stillness, because we're operating, and we could talk about this from a neuroscience standpoint, you could talk about this from a mechanics, like physiology standpoint, but we tend to move in patterns. We think in patterns, we think in repetitive stories and repetitive loops. Our body moves. We have certain things that we've learned how to adjust ourselves for efficiency. So if we have like I have my classic leg that's shorter, I have a way of compensating for that, and I move with that. The High Priestess and the Hangman together are asking you to hold the pose of surrender, submission, receptivity, listening a little longer than you want to, a little longer than you might naturally or than you might be comfortable with. It's so cool what emerges when you do that. An example with the tarot card, an example with yin yoga, an example with a meditative practice where you get to that place where it's like a little itchy and then you stay with it and what happens, or a breath practice where you're like, I hate this. I hate the way I'm like contorting my breath, but you stay with it and this whole other possibility opens up, this whole other space lines up. Actually, the thing that's coming to mind, which is a really interesting one, and those of you familiar with natural birth, particularly with the Bradley method, one of the things he talks about is there's the stages of labor, but there's a moment between the contraction stage and then the pushing stage. It's called transition. And one of the things that Bradley discovered and that he, was really helpful was he watched, even when animals were giving birth, that there was a moment where the animal would hold their breath. And in humans, it's a moment where if you've ever experienced someone giving birth, it's almost inevitable, especially natural birth, that they will turn to you at some point and say, I can't do this. This is not possible. Like, I give up. I can't do this. And what Bradley says, and I think it's such a beautiful thing to know about a person giving birth, whether you're the person, but particularly if you're the coach or the support team, is what they need in that moment is for you to look them in the eye and say, you're actually doing it. You can do this. This is the moment we've been waiting for, to get to this edge where you think I can't do it anymore. And then that's the moment where the whole dial turns and you actually begin to do it, to give birth. There's something here like that. This deepening surrender, submission, silence, reception, listening, where it becomes physically uncomfortable. It becomes like, I can't do this anymore. I need something. Like, this isn't working for me. I can't stay here. And then you do. And then something profound shifts, the dial turns. And that's where the Wheel of Fortune energy comes in here. There's an invitation in February to surrender, get quiet, get silent, receive, listen way longer than you want to. You might already be here. We're at Imbolc. We're at that halfway point between the solstice and the equinox. So the equinox is the halfway point, is right the balance of light and dark, and the solstice is the darkest point, and Imbolc is the February 1st, which happens to be the Leo full moon, is the balance point, is the halfway point. And so breathe that in too. Breathe in after where I am, we're just like covered in snow. The world is literally blanketed in snow. There's something about that forced silence, holding that while you're also holding the return of the light and the way things you want to build and the things that want to break free. And you can feel the earth starting to soften, starting to incubate itself into its next level, into the growth season, which will come with the equinox, into the new year, which will come with the Aries season. We're also entering the lunar new year in mid-February, the time of the fire horse. So, if, like I said before, this 2 week moment is the tail of the snake. The wood snake has been a difficult time. It has asked a lot of us, required a lot of us in terms of shedding, transformation, embodiment, coming back to our bodies, coming back to whether life actually feels good, feels aligned, feels right, and the hard choices or hard circumstances that come when you realize things aren't aligned. This is not where you're meant to be anymore in whatever dimension. And the tail of the snake is not a quiet time. And yet the invitation for February is to get so quiet. And so, how do you hold that? That's a good question. It's a practice, it's an exploration. How do I hold this balance point of the darkness, the void, the cold, the incubation, and then the desire to grow and return and feel warm again? And similarly, how do I hold this idea of the stillness, the silence, while the wood snake tail is whipping around us collectively and in our own being? It requires a lot to hold these two opposing energies. And I'll just say to you that when I first sat with these cards, and I've mentioned this to some of you, the energy that came through was like a trust fall into the universe. And that is true. If you think of the Wheel of Fortune as a river, as a current that's trying to get us somewhere, the Wheel of Fortune year is trying to arrive. And I know I say there's no arrival, but it is trying to recarve the landscape, move the river so that it's heading in a different place, a different way. And you're going to feel that all year. These like things coming to meet you, these streams connecting with you, and some of them are going to divert off again. Some of them are going to merge with you, but the geography of the water is changing in that Wheel of Fortune year. So there's a momentum there, a watery, fluid, flowing momentum that is inevitable. And then the High Priestess and the Hangman are these deep cards of surrender, listening, receptivity, new information, new vision, new perspective. And so those cards together have this energy of just let the river carry you for a little while. See how long you can float, see how comfortable you can get with the momentum, how still you can get in your own being while you're moving very quickly. And that's again like the contradiction. What I will say to you is that one of the things you can do in a month like this is you can anchor into your work. Like, what is your work? Whatever that looks like for you. Is that your actual material job work? Is that the work you're doing with your body? Is it work you're doing with your spiritual practice? Is it maintenance things that need to happen in your life? There's something about attending, sixth house energy, attending to the everyday. That is the root system you need to allow yourself to surrender to the movement of the river this month. I hope that makes sense. So that's your antidote, so to speak, because just this idea of the High Priestess and the Hangman together, it's not the energy that gets the dinner made. It's not the energy that gets the bills paid. I just keep picturing this kind of molting happening. So it's really interesting because it's very transformative and also without effort, but it's changing things on this deep level. And that's the Wheel of Fortune spin on this. So something about the High Priestess and the Hangman is giving me this energy of you staying still and layers molting away, getting peeled away, falling away. And you keep getting closer to the center, closer to the heart of the matter, closer to the thing that wants to be born. And again, that's not an efforting energy right now. That's an allowing energy. So take that as it resonates with you, but where can you allow more? And I'll come back to that thing I said about transition, about birth. you're allowing, that doesn't mean it's comfortable. Like, you might need to really have process and awareness around, I can feel this so deeply, and I guess I invite you to feel it with me, where there's something that you know you want or is pure or is aligned with you. And then what we're doing is we're tapping into that, connecting into that, and then allowing the wind, the water to pull away everything that is not that, everything that is between you and that. And that's uncomfortable because you're giving something away, you're letting something go. And it's something that on first pass, you might not realize, like, you want to let go. Like, it might not be, again, like, this is not happening on a conscious level. So there might be some friction with your mind space saying, well, I'll need X to get to Y. And the universe is kind of like, just focus on the fact that you want to get to Y. Let us take care of X. And so again, there's the somatic experience of staying with the letting go a little longer than you want to. So let's just back up really quickly and I'll walk you through these cards a little bit specifically, and then we'll come back to what I was just saying. But the High Priestess, is the energy of the subconscious. It is the energy of the dream space, the oracle. So the 2 is always an invitation to connect to the void space and to draw out from nothingness something wise, something to hold on to. The High Priestess is able to connect to deeper levels of knowing, deeper levels of awareness. Again, not in a conscious way, not in an active way, like the Magician or even like the Empress. There's something about her that is, this is a reception. The hollow bone in shamanism is one of the best ways to talk about it. And that concept is that the shaman, when they're doing healing work, is trying to actually empty themselves out to be a channel, a vessel for spirit. They're trying not to allow their agenda, their energy, their mind, their narrative abilities to get in the way of what wants to move through. We're trying to become just a very open channel without our humanity or our ego or our personality or our agenda getting sticky at all with what wants to happen. And the most beautiful way to say that is that even when you bring healing energy to someone, even when they're saying, I want to heal this, in shamanism and in Reiki as well, and I would imagine probably in any energy healing, you want to bring the intelligent energy to them, the intelligence of love and light energy to them, and then let their body do with it what needs to be done. In Reiki, we talk about this, and in flower essences as well. You talk about like the presenting problem. You just kind of bring the energy there, but that doesn't mean that that's where the energy goes. The energy is intelligent. It knows where to go. The spirit, the soul knows how to take it and metabolize it. And one of the things we want to do when we're in the healing space is we want to get out of the way. We don't want to have an agenda. We don't even want to get attached to your agenda. We want to just say, I'm offering this from a place of spaciousness and freedom. So that is the High Priestess. She is the hollow bone. She is like, I am alive and connected to something much bigger than me, to the vast web of energy that connects all of us, to the vastness of the void space. And from there, I know that I am separate from that. And I understand the beauty of that. I understand that I can pull those threads, pull that information out and through in a way that is healing, in a way that is insightful, that can feel quite miraculous, actually. The 2 is the energy of balance. The 1 is like, oh, it's me. I'm here, the Aries energy. And the 2 is I'm here, but I'm here to be in relationship. Part of basic possibility of me is that I am a creature in relationship. I am a creature that's in separation, but I'm in separation to no union, to no connection. The 2 is me and you. It's me and the void. It's me and life. It's the relating. It's the relation that becomes the most important thing. And it's very much a card that's interested in reception and receiving. The Magician wants to put its energy, like push its will out into the world. And the High Priestess wants to receive from the world, wants to bathe herself in what is and get learning, make art, like understand from that place. The Hangman is the 12 energy, so the 1 and the 2. It's that interesting thing of, it's me, I'm here, but then I'm also here to be in relation to the world. And the way that the tarot pictures that is the Hangman. This is a card, and you guys have heard me say this before, people have a lot of anxiety about this card. I don't know if it's because of Jesus and crucifixion, but this is not a card of suffering. The Hangman is not a card where we're suffering. This is not a punishing energy or a punishing card. This is a card of submission, surrender, reception, perspective shifting. So the Hangman in its most beautiful sense is, I thought I knew. I thought I was a magician. I thought I knew exactly what I wanted. And the Hangman is like, maybe I know nothing at all. It has a little bit of a fool's energy to it, and not the fool card, but that fool sense of like, so open to what I don't know, so willing to admit how much I don't know. There's a wisdom in that. There's a type of intelligence in that, of like, oh, I thought I knew, and I'm also willing to know nothing at all. So the High Priestess and the Hangman share this receptive quality of egolessness or personalitylessness. They're not interested in how they're perceived. They're not interested in how they can present themselves. There's no agenda to either of these cards. There's this beautiful curiosity and this beautiful expansion of what's possible, because I soften my gaze and I soften my agenda and I soften my need to prove anything. Both of these cards are beyond that. They're in this interesting space of reflection and consideration and listening and what else might be. They really want to think about this kind of suppleness that both require. They require this kind of softening. And again, I'll keep coming back to that yin yoga analogy because it's a really good one. And if you haven't done that, I'm sure you can find a video on YouTube. The yin yoga is to take a pose and then stay in the pose. There's such an intelligence there. And it's really the offer for us this month to find where your edges are. And instead of working them, seeing how soft you can get with them. How much can I surrender to whatever it is that I'm struggling with, and then stay there, and then stay there, and then stay there. And the Wheel of Fortune is going to keep moving things along. So you, again, really want to have the sense that you're not wasting time, you're not losing time by relaxing, by softening, by giving in a little bit, by giving up a little bit, like giving up a little bit of control, giving up a little bit of the need to know. There's so much energy here around shifting terrain. And I said that to you a little bit earlier about how the Wheel of Fortune has the water creating a new shape in the landscape. That's already happening. And some of the energy here, the box, better than you can imagine, Eight of Pentacles, victim, stillness, blessings of the kite dancer. These are all energies that say to me that structurally, things that we know that's going to happen this year, but structurally in February, there's going to be shifting terrain. There's going to be what you thought was going to happen, what you thought you should expect, what you thought the parameters were, and then an expansion of that. And again, this energy of better than you can imagine, you limit yourself by feeling like you have to have it figured out this month. You actually do yourself a great service by falling back into that I don't know, by falling back into I wonder what will happen, to falling back into show me how good it gets. There's something really, just anytime you feel like you know this month, I know, and it can be a good knowing or a bad knowing or a scared knowing or an excited knowing, but whatever you think you know, be prepared and be willing to say, I wonder what else. I wonder what else might happen. There's just a way in which this is not an output month. This is an input, and allowing the input to rearrange, allowing the input to metamorphosize, allowing the input to allow you to molt into, I just keep seeing these layers falling back, these layers of you, of each other kind of falling back till something more essential, and I would argue more beautiful and more empowered emerges. Blessing of the Kite Dancer and Better Than You Can Imagine as to car and victim, the way it's showing up here, really say to me that you are going to be in a position of, you're going to feel much more empowered. Whatever's coming, whatever you're molting into, wherever the river's taking you, you couldn't get there on your own. You need some kind of divine intervention, some kind of divine help to bring you to these new inflection points. And there's something about the High Priestess and the Hangman that's like, just chill out. I know it's easy for me to say sitting here, but that's the vibe. It's like, just chill out. There's something to be learned by staying still much longer than you would prefer, much longer than you want to. And it's an act of faith. So it's, again, easy for me to say, but when we're in it, we can feel like, well, I just need to work harder. I need to be better. And that's all getting challenged this month. Stillness, softness, surrender, receptivity, listening, holding the pose, watching the layers of what you think was supposed to be, what you think had to be, fall away. Something, it's not easy. My heart can feel the tension in it, but something quite beautiful about the rawness this requires. Like, this requires you to get really essential and really raw and rebuild from that place and create something new from that place. And I do feel like tender, and I feel the grief of that. And at the same time, I know that it's just this important, it's like this evolutionary point that we're at, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel things are not what they were. Our nervous systems are different. What we value is shifting and changing. What we're willing to tolerate is shifting and changing. And there's work required, but not work to make it to the next phase, work to sustain. So I would, again, bring you back to the Eight of Pentacles energy that's here with us too. Like, your hands on the work that they know they need to do. So this is not about forcing things or making things. This is about what needs to happen today to keep my life moving, to maintain my basic functioning. I really want you to think about it that way. So your body, your health, your home, your environment, what are the tasks calling to you right now? Do those. Because you want to think about your daily maintenance connected with this widening surrender, widening capacity to receive, combined with the movement of the Wheel of Fortune. It's interesting. It's just a different way of moving, but I think it's worth experimenting with, worth playing with. What else do I want to say? Yeah, any kind of meditative practice, any kind of practice that allows you to connect with your guides, with something higher, richer than you. Ganesh is so with us right now. So however you think about this energy of the guides and guardians that protect us from moving forward before we're ready, and also clear the path when it's time, that's just here with us. So call on those angels, call on those guardians and guides, let them be with you. I would look for teachers. So it can be a passing phase, it can be someone you want to commit to over time, but not as some place to externalize power, but as someone to show you nuance or connect with something deeper inside of you, allow you to connect with something deeper inside of you. But any kind of yoga, meditation, breath, prayer, all of that is just really highlighted in February. And we are going to move into the fire horse, and that is going to have that's the 19th. That's going to have a very different quality to it. So maybe you just want to experiment with this for the first 2 weeks of the month. You just want to experiment with, how surrendered can I be? How much of a yes can I be to what is? And let me see what happens. And if I don't like it, you can shift gears halfway through the month. But I have a feeling by the time we get to the 14th, you're just going to feel very differently about where you are. It feels inevitable and exciting and liberating, and it also feels tender. And you're going to be asked to let go of what you thought it was supposed to be. And I think there's going to be varying degrees of comfort with that. There might be parts of you that are like, okay, game on, I'm so ready to let that go. And there's going to be parts of you that are sticky with it. And so just patience with yourself. I think that gets us some good info about the month ahead. Take what serves you, take what works for you, and let's go ahead and pull a card for every sign. I just want to reiterate that there's going to be big change this month, and I want to reiterate that you should rely on your guides, that you're not alone, that you get to have people and energies that are supporting you in all of this. Aquarius, Queen of Swords and Squirrel Spirit, believe in yourself. So, Aquarius, this actually feels good. I feel like you've had a couple of months in a row where you haven't quite felt yourself, or you haven't quite, yeah, just like you've been asked to kind of hold a skin that doesn't quite feel right. And it feels like this month you're back in your native land, like you're back in a place that feels like you know what to do, you know what the rules are, you know how to operate here. Feel like in yourself, feel in your power. The Queen of Swords can have an energy of harshness or intolerance, but I don't feel that here. I feel that like, that might actually be right. There might be something about your energy that needs to be a little bit selfish, a little bit intolerant, a little bit self-focused. And you might want to watch how you present that, how you share that truth with people. But in some ways, it's less your concern. Like, if someone comes to you and they really talk to you about the impact you're having, be open to that conversation, but also give yourself a little extra permission this month to stay self-focused, stay a little selfish, prioritize what you need over what the community needs, and maybe trusting that those two things are actually more aligned than you realize. Aquarius, Pisces, you have Ace of Pentacles and Antelope Spirit. Life is speeding up. Something new comes into your life, Pisces, some kind of new idea or opportunity, some material thing, some gift, and it has a momentum to it that you might not expect. So it might start off as a small yes, like a small, oh yeah, that's fun. That's like a little small thing. And it's gonna build momentum quite quickly. It's gonna kind of roll down the hill and collect itself faster than you realize. So trust your small steps this month, Pisces. Trust the small movements you're making. They're gonna pick up their own steam. They're gonna have their own kind of head of steam. I think that's the way that people say it. So it's like this small thing that actually is quite potent, is quite rich. And once you say yes to it, once you start rolling it, it's going to pick up speed. And I don't know, it feels really good. I think in your world, it will feel like rapid success. Starting at the beginning of the month, you might not even see this as a possibility. There's a small door that opens or a small gift that's given. You say yes to it because it feels easy and aligned. And then it kind of expands into something much bigger. Aries, you have Eight of Swords and Elephant Spirit. There's our little Ganesh friend. Eight of Swords, learn from the past. Okay, so Aries, this is the energy of being bound. Like this has Ganesh energy all over it. The Eight of Swords is the energy of not moving as quickly as you want, not getting the resolution that you necessarily want. And maybe that's the point. So just notice this month if you feel frustrated or impatient, or like you're not moving fast enough, or people aren't getting you, and just have an awareness that maybe you're being delayed for a reason. Maybe there's a pause for a reason. Something of this learn from the past thing, there's something about you might feel yourself bound in a way that you're like, I've been here before. Like this feels familiar. That's interesting. So the Eight of Swords is where we really don't trust our intuition, and there's a little bit of victim mentality in that, right? Like, well, my hands are bound and I can't see, so how am I supposed to navigate? And the Eight of Swords is the part of you that can navigate anyway, that will find its way, can trust its intuition, can trust the next right step. And the Elephant Spirit is kind of reminding you that any way you're like, oh, I don't like it here, I'm frustrated, or I can't get myself free, the elephant's kind of like, have we been here before? Have you also been stuck in this way before? And do you want to continue to play this way, or you want to maybe tackle this from a new direction? So you might have one of those moments, we've all been there, where you have one of those moments this month where you're like, this feels familiar, and I can't really point and blame anyone else because I realize that I'm kind of stepping into the same shoes, the same role that I've been in probably once or twice before. Taurus, King of Wands and Porcupine Spirit, time for beginner mind. Okay, King of Wands is beautiful, right? That's the part of us that's passionate and in charge of our lives and feels alive and sexy and just powerful. You feel really powerful as the King of Wands. It's charming. It's fun to be around you when you're in King of Wands energy. And the Porcupine Spirit, time for beginner's mind. The way I feel this is like, There's some part of you waking up, and you might have, similar to what I was just saying to Aries, like you might have a preconceived notion of, oh, well, if I wake up this way, it means X, Y, and Z, or if I feel this thing, it means this. And you already have the story kind of like unspooling in your mind. And porcupine spirit is like, maybe meet the day with fresh eyes. Maybe meet whatever this is that's turning you on, lighting you up, making you feel kind of powerful and excited. Maybe don't jump the gun. Like maybe just meet it where it is and keep meeting it where it is. And don't put your old stories on top of it. That feels like it's here. So the kind of obvious example is when you start a new relationship and you meet someone and you think you know who they are. And so you kind of put all these ideas of the way it's going to be on that dynamic. And the opportunity here would be like to not be so prickly, to not be so ready for it to go wrong, and just be curious about what's real, like what feels real in this, what's alive for me right now, and trust yourself. Like you're the King of Wands, you're not the Page of Wands, you're not the Knight of Wands, you're the King of Wands. So you're gonna meet what's here. How do I feel? Okay, I feel good about that. And then I'm gonna meet the next thing, and I'm not gonna jump ahead, and I'm not gonna make assumptions about what might be. Don't get in your own way like that, Taurus. That's what it feels like. Like you might kind of cut off your nose to spite your face, that kind of energy. And you have the opportunity to not do that. So just keep checking back in. Like, am I putting assumptions or knowing on this that doesn't actually exist? You know, like where is my control kind of locking into the situation versus letting the inspiration move more cleanly through me. Gemini, 7 of Cups and Deer spirit, bring a gentle touch. So 7 of Cups is here the energy of kind of illusion or what we think we want or what the world tells us we want. 7 of Cups often has to do with trying to find fulfillment, trying to find the thing that brings your heart peace and ease. And there's something here, there's a little bit of a desperation here, like a scrabbling for, I need to find the thing. I need to find the satisfaction. I need to find the cup. I have to find the cup that matches mine. And I have to find the cup that's going to finally like quench my thirst. And the deer is like, just relax a little bit. There's a gentleness required. But I can feel this kind of urgency in you, Gemini, to figure it out. And this is, again, not a month to figure it out by moving forward. This is a month to figure it out by staying longer than you want to holding the pose a little longer than you want to. And that deer energy is really inviting you back into that. Like, just what if you got more gentle? What if you got softer about it? What if you got less urgent about it? What might happen? I'm not saying that's easy, but that would be the advice or the recommendation from these cards, the possibility. You might, so the other thing with the 7 of Cups is that there's a mysterious cup, the one like you can't quite see, you can't quite gather the shape of. And I have a feeling there's something related here about, okay, man, I'm not in control. I'm going to be gentle. I'm going to hold the pose a little bit longer, and maybe the cup's going to find you. That would be the vibe. Gemini, Cancer, 2 of Swords and Dove spirit, be peace. So the 2 of Swords can be the horns of a dilemma. We know this. It can be just feeling really torn and unable to make a decision. But with the energy of the High Priestess, the Hangman, the Dove, it actually says to me, it would benefit you to stay still this month, Cancer. Like it would benefit you not to rush decisions, not to think that you only have those 2 choices. There's something about like getting locked into it's this or this. And there's something about all the energies here. It's like, girl, you don't even know. There's so much more available to you if you just recede from the tension, recede from the decision, recede from the, again, not urgency like Gemini, but like binary possibilities. Like, oh, it's yes or no, black or white, here or there. And it's like, no. That feels like a false choice. So just be aware of that. There's an invitation for you to relax and find peace for you. And again, bring up that 8 of Pentacles. Just like stay with what you know you need to do and let the decision, the dilemma work itself out. Leo, the Hierophant hummingbird spirit, be here now. Okay, it's beautiful, Leo. The Hierophant is, you know this, the part of us that is reaching or trying to understand the divine, trying to connect with something, have a a spiritual experience. It's the bridge energy of I want to know the things that are unknown. I want to connect with the things that are bigger than me. And the hummingbird spirit is lovely. It's like about mythical time and being present and like enjoying the sweetness of what is. These two cards together really speak to, like in shamanism, the idea of the beauty way. Like, oh, I'm just going to enjoy what is sweet as fully as possible and let that be a kind of spiritual experience. Let that be a kind of enlightenment. So this might kind of bore you, Leo, but that's the energy. Like, how sweet can it get? How present can I get? How beautiful can it get? And again, you're not wasting time by not being the active go-getter. Like, you actually can, this is a lesson for you in relaxing the momentum, letting the river carry you, letting the thing molt away from you while you just focus on your heart and your spirit and beauty and presence. So it's a beautiful invitation. And I also understand that it might be a little bit like, what am I supposed to do with that? Experiment. And again, what if you experiment for these first 2 weeks and see how you like it? What if you just focus on your spiritual practice, beauty, pleasure, presence, and see? And in 2 weeks, if you don't feel good or it doesn't feel like it's doing what you need to do, then you can switch gears. But there's such an invitation here, and particularly around this for you, to prove to you that you don't have to work so hard all of the time. Leo, who's after you? Virgo. Queen of Pentacles and Rabbit Spirit. Now is a lucky time. Okay, Virgo, this is similar to Aquarius. Like Aquarius is like, okay, here I am back in Queen of Swords energy. This is you like, oh, here I am back in Queen of Pentacles. Like, I'm back on my home turf. It's been a weird one, but like, here I am at home again. And the Rabbit Spirit bringing luck to that is beautiful. So Virgo, yeah, earth energy, like allow yourself to get very particular about tending to your body, your space, your money. Like, allow yourself to really embrace the magic you make around earth energy, around the material, and then see what luck emerges from that. This is your version of like Leo saying, like just focus on beauty and presence. This is like just focus on your domain, your realm, the thing, again, that work energy of like what needs to be attended to right now. And let the river like reveal itself to you. Let the luck come. Let the things join you in that stream. Libra, we have Two of Pentacles, Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race. It's not quite the same as, who was that, Cancer, but it's similar in that there's a little bit of you're a little bit stuck in this either or, I can't be in two places, I can't manage both things. And the turtle spirit's like, you can carry more than you realize. Things can work out in a way that you can't quite anticipate. Like, it's a little bit of an invitation not to be the master of the universe, not to have all the answers, and to just tend to what's in front of you step by step. And the same way that like Cancer's invited to recede and let the dilemma work itself out, you want to avoid getting hyper focused on one or the other. Like, this idea that I can only, so the energy of the Two of Pentacles, one of the most beautiful illustrations, is like a mother of twins. And the energy is like, well, if I love this one, then I can't love this one as much. And there's something here about that vibe where it's like, just give yourself a break. Like, just relax a little bit and tend to, again, like what's right here. That all of these cards, you guys, are like attend to the work that you need to do. Like, when you get overwhelmed, when you feel unsure, tend to what is in front of you. And that's here as well. There's something about this energy. It is different, but it's also the same of like, there's some like dichotomy you have set up. Like, I will never be able to give both of my children the same amount of love, or if I have this, I can't have that. There's some false dichotomy you have, and attending to the work in front of you, like one foot in front of the other, is actually going to show you that that's a false narrative, that's not real. And by the end of February, I have a feeling you're almost like be able to laugh at how it felt like, well, those two things I'll never be able to have both. And by the end of the month, it's like, oh, wait, yes, I can. And it was not nearly as hard as I thought it would be. Okay. Scorpio, Seven of Wands and Chameleon Spirit, act as if. So let me get out of my own way because I'm a Scorpio, so I start like translating for myself right away. Seven of Wands is learning to hold space for yourself. So it can be a beautiful holding space. It can be like this is my dance space, that's your dance space. It can be like a beautiful claiming of space. It can also be a little bit defensive. It can be a little bit like not quite feeling safe with other people in your space. So it really depends on how it's landing for you. But the idea is that I'm holding some zone of spaciousness around myself that I don't feel totally confident in. So I'm a little unsteady, but I also really want this. And the Seven of Wands is always going to be like lessons around that, around the boundary line. When do I open? When do I close? When is it safe? When is it not safe? Like that's part of the investigation. It's a little bit like act like you know what you're doing, like a little bit of I don't know how to hold this boundary line. I kind of know I'm instinctively doing this, but am I wrong or am I right? And the Chameleon Spirit's like, just like act confident, like pretend that you're right, like trust your instincts around this. Don't overthink it. Don't get in your head about it. Just feels like the space you need. Just trust this is the space you need. This feels like something you want to open towards. Just trust you're going to open towards it. Trust yourself on a deeper level than whatever it is you're working out with this boundary line. And in terms of the month that we're in, there's just this sense of part of what you might be molting is like defensive layers. Part of what you might be molting is how to hold your own spaciousness differently. And there's something about hypervigilance that wants to relax or rest. And the chameleon's kind of saying, like, act as if you have a natural right to your territory and it's not something you need to overthink or doubt or explain to anyone. You're just kind of working on holding a space for yourself. Act as if you totally know what you're doing. Trust yourself. And then also trust that you do know on a deeper level. Like the part of you that thinks it doesn't know is kind of a shallow, noisy, anxious level, hypervigilant level. There's something underneath it that is trying to work itself out that wants you to relax into it. I hope that makes sense, Scorpio. Sagittarius, the Fool, and Electric Eel Spirit, bring your ideas to life. Beautiful energy, Sagittarius, like very fresh and exciting. It's like of all the cards, all the signs, this might be the easiest month for you. There might be some part of you that really gets the falling back into the river, really gets the receptivity, really gets kind of the dance with life that's being offered or explored here. What I heard was just like, say yes to the dress. But there's something about like, just trust yourself. Just say yes. Say yes to what comes your way, what feels right, even if it feels risky, there's something to be learned. Like the best of you, Sagittarius, is the part of you that's willing to like jump off the cliff because you want to see what happens. This feels very supported. This feels a very good month to like take a risk. That's what I would say to you, Sagittarius. You have a lot of support in taking a risk. So maybe feel a little braver, a little more supported and held this month to try to express something new, try something new. Like, yeah, attempt to do things a little differently and see what happens. Capricorn, Knight of Cups and Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. All right, Capricorn, has to do with, wow, okay. All right, so Capricorn, these two cards together kind of speak to notice where you're dimming yourself because of what, like, relationally. So there's okay. Knight of Cups is like giving and receiving love. It's the most romantic, like, part of us that wants to be connected and in love. Panther Spirit is asking for to not silence yourself, to not make yourself smaller. So these two cards together can be like like a stepping into love in kind of a bigger, bolder way. But when I sit with them, the energy I get is actually a recognition of where you're folding yourself, getting smaller, because you think that's what love wants, or that's what's gonna serve the dynamic, or that's what's gonna bring you love or help you keep love. So there's something about noticing where you're making yourself smaller, reducing yourself, dimming yourself because you think that's how you're gonna keep or get love. That's a little bit of a harsh message, Capricorn, but I mean, it's the classic question we talk about at Women's Circle all the time, like, who would you be if you knew you couldn't lose love? There's something here about that getting reworked for you. Maybe that's part of the molting that's happening. You're allowed to be your like big Capricorn, ambitious, powerful self. And you should never have to dim that for love or connection. The right connection, the right love for you should celebrate that and be so proud to walk beside that. That's what I would say, Capricorn. So that might be part of the lesson this month ahead. All right, my friends, like I said, on the bottom of the deck, we have the Tower and we have Otter Spirit. There's just changes afoot. And you're not alone. There are changes afoot and you are not alone through any of this. This month is going to require some kind of molting transition, transformation. It's not happening in a tower way. It's happening in this incredibly watery, soft, receptive way. And I just invite you to stay in the pose and the discomfort a little longer. Surrender maybe past your comfort point, and obviously using your own authority and intelligence in that, knowing you need to do what's right for you. But there is this invitation, like, I'm going to surrender, I'm going to let go, I'm going to pause, I'm going to submit, and then I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, well, that's good. And it's just like, well, what if I did it a few beats longer, another breath longer, and just saw what might happen? And I think that yin yoga analogy is brilliant. Like, I think that's brilliant. It didn't come from me. I don't know where it came from, but like, I can call it brilliant without calling myself brilliant. But there's something about that yin pose of like, okay, I'm in this thing. It should be relaxing. It's actually causing some tension in my body. If I stay there, oh wow, I never felt that feeling before. Oh, I didn't know that the tension was actually in my toes versus in my wrist. Like, do you have that? You know what I'm talking about? When you're in yoga, I was doing it today. I was doing some supine twist. And I was like, okay, I'm relaxed in this pose. And then I realized like my bottom leg was like totally holding itself with so much tension. But I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been required to stay there a little longer. And then I relaxed that, and then everything else relaxed with it. But we don't always see where the tension point is. We don't always see where the contraction is. And the invitation this month is, if you stay a little longer, you're going to notice contractions and energy points and like shells that you've worn that don't really work for you anymore. So such an invitation, not easy to do, and yet quite beautiful. So wishing you a beautiful month, and hopefully you have this helped give you some structure or guidance or possibility in that. And just know that I'm with you. I'm riding the river with you. Here I am, surrendering in the river with you. We're having so much fun. Talk to you later. Bye.